Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day-to-day lives. Let's start with the video. Hello, Reddit. Posting from Portofino, as I said I would be in my previous posts. I am finally here at my mother-in-law's place. In fact, the whole family is here. Half in the house and the other half in the hotel nearby. Family really is everything here, and it is really amazing to see how much they all care for each other. But my mother-in-law has always been problematic and has never liked me that much. So yeah, you can understand Italian mothers are just simply protective of their sons and aren't that fond of their own daughter-in-law. So I hope the whole thing makes sense to everyone who's familiar with the culture and everything. The cigarette smoking is real. I think I have inhaled more by being a second-hand smoker around my in-laws, and as an American, it is sort of weird that none of these people are dead yet. Like, even the 102-year-old Nona smokes like she is in her 30s. I love the people, culture, and everything so much. I am literally living the Hollywood glamour, sad heroine lifestyle here, and I love it. Been listening to so much jazz, and the love is totally in the air for everyone, and regret not scheduling my honeymoon in here. But I didn't want my mother-in-law being a part of it, so I'm glad we went to some different place other than this. LOL. Anyways, today's episode about my mother-in-law is annoying and toxic. I have a fresh incident for my fellow Redditors, cooked up fresh in Italy with pizza sauce. The best pizza sauce straight out of Nonna's kitchen. So as I always use Reddit as my personal Twitter, sometimes I tell my regular people how I would be going to my mother-in-law's country, Italy, to celebrate her birthday. Happy birthday to her. And this is the story of the same day when it all happened. I don't have a really strong bond with my mother-in-law because she is really protective of my husband and would never let him have his own life until we started dating, and when I gave him the choice of living on his own with me or living according to his mother. He chose me. Look, I am going to say that I hated that he was close to her. That's not the case. It is more like being over the top dependent on the age of 25 isn't a really good sign. And I didn't want that mother versus wife antic, so yeah, the choice he had to make was clear. Either you get married to me and we call the shots equally, or he stays attached to mother like a glue and loses me. No way I am getting married to a guy who asks about every decision to his mom and does everything according to her. Have a good relationship with her, but this whole not keeping boundaries and letting her drag your wife anytime and every time thing wasn't going to work with me. And after having several conversations about it, he understood and made decisions of putting up boundaries. Even my husband didn't like that, but as my mother-in-law was the only present parent, so the attachment is inevitable. And after making necessary amends, we got married. And for work, we both stayed in America, and that didn't go well with my mother-in-law. Ever since I have been married into this house, she has a custom-hating culture against me. And the worst part is, she would act all nice in front of me just to go around and talk crap about me behind my back. I have never been able to catch her red-handed, so I never put up a fight. And I grew up in a family where no one really had any bonds, so maybe that's why this thing seems more clingy to me, as I have never experienced this in my life, and it all seems tiresome to me. The point of me telling all these is to show how actually controlling she was of everything and everyone around him, and how we never got along because we have really different lifestyles from each other. And this year, putting every difference aside, I went along with the plan that my sister-in-law made to have our whole family over and celebrate my mother-in-law's birthday with every one of us together. And that's the reason we are here. Everything was set. She acted excited over the whole thing until she realized that I was coming too. And then she pretended to be okay till the day of her birthday. She wakes up, opens everyone's present except for mine, and I didn't care, but it still hurt me so much that I cried about in the bathroom for the next 10 minutes. The thing is, she was supposed to go out with her friends till we decorated the house, and we wanted the whole thing to be handcrafted as much as possible. After she went, we had like 2 hours, and she was supposed to be with us by evening. And we planned having cakes and food and all the things they smoke and drink. The fact that I have to make a post about this thing speaks volumes. No, it wasn't any normal day, and everyone skipped work and school and every other important thing, traveled countries just to make her happy and cherish her. She threw it all away. She literally skipped the party and we waited for her the whole evening, and then at last she arrived at night around 11 p.m. Look, she had issues with me. She could have just said that. I would have gone on and explored the country on my own a little bit, but skipping the whole plan because to make some petty revenge? Like she needed to understand that she really hurt everyone and she wasn't getting away with it. When she arrived, everyone thought that she would at least cut the cake and call it a day, but she straight went, and that's where I snapped. There are little kids staying past their bedtimes just to make their grandma happy, and she acted this way. I completely snapped at her and told her how bitchy it was. Like she needed to hear that. My sister-in-law consoled me, saying it was okay, and after that my mother-in-law blamed everything on me and said if I wasn't here, she would have been here and celebrated with her whole family. I was almost on the verge of breaking into tears. My husband took a stand for me and told me he loved me and told his mom to cut the cake and go to her room or she would be cut off permanently. She would never do anything like this, and she finally cut the cake. We fed the kids and put them in bed and went to bed ourselves. No way we were coming off without a celebration. Next day morning, me and my sister-in-law decided to have a fun family day where we all watched movies, played games, and sang songs and did a lot of talking together, and everyone agreed. But the only rule was to ignore Grandma. So she would learn her lesson and start behaving, and we did that. So let me give you details of our revenge plans and tell you everything that happened. So we woke up and started our plans of having fun. And when she woke up and tried to talk to the kids, they knew the assignment and pretended that she wasn't there. She didn't understand what actually was happening and started asking others, but got no response and was completely ignored by everyone. We continued our activities without bothering her for any moment and just kept on ignoring her throughout everything. She even got desperate enough to try to talk to me, but I brushed her off too. We were all good, honestly, until my husband returned from outside. He had some things to do, so he went out. And after that, she went to him, and he too ignored her and joined the rest of us for dinner. Then she just started yelling at everyone and started crying in her room that she dramatically ran to. It was worth the wait, LOL. And I'm kind of satisfied deep down to see her that way. Like, she deserved it up to a certain extent, but making her cry wasn't really the motive. We couldn't ignore her after that. It would have been a shitty thing to do. We all went to her and my husband consoled her and she started apologizing. She didn't say any sorries to me, but whatever, not like I care. My sister-in-law told me how hurt we all were after that, and she was like whatever and said sorry about the whole thing, and we all got past it and had the birthday dinner together. That's all happened, and if something comes up, I'll update on returning to America. And for now, sun tanning is the best thing ever, honestly. My phone is really hot right now, and I will stop. Apologies for the format because I said my phone, LOL. So basically, it feels weird to give an update to a post like this. Pretty much told everything that happened, so I will talk about what happened for the next 3 days. We stayed there. One by one, every one of us left, and we were the last ones that stayed. My mother-in-law made sure that I wasn't hurting him or torturing him and had him look at all 3 options she still has lined up for him if I try leaving him ever, and we laughed. My grandma-in-law explained the whole behavior and told me not to worry about it because she used to be like that. But as she became a grandma, she stopped behaving that way because she was called out several times. And we all know she doesn't hate me seriously. She didn't apologize, but did cook me the best traditional Italian meal, and I enjoyed it, and also packed me some homemade sauce to carry it back to America for enjoying good, yummy meals. We are good, and she did give me traditional jewelry. I have it safe in my locker. This is like the normal story of my life, and I know she and me will have the best bond when she gets over this stupid traditional antics she wants to continue. Wait till she gets bored. I can understand Italian mamas are actually sometimes clingy and they don't really like you and act like you stole their son. My sister and her husband were on their honeymoon. His mom followed him there too. They are definitely a pain in the butt with no solution to it. Thank God it wasn't as toxic as the other mother-in-law story, but whatever. OP, good for you for always taking a stand and being patient. I could never. I'm a 28-year-old female and I got married to the love of my life a month ago. It was a small, intimate ceremony with only 20 people. However, our venue was extravagant, and so was everything else, especially my dress. I went a little overboard with the money I spent on my dress. I paid for it myself, so I didn't break anyone's bank, but I remained happy with my decision. As a kid who didn't have the nicest childhood, I always envisioned my wedding to be a special event where it's all about me and my future husband. I wanted to feel special and beautiful, both of which I have rarely experienced all my life. This is why we chose to only have the people closest to us attend and put the remainder of our budget into venue, food, and my dress. One of my bridesmaids was my high school best friend, Andy. She and I have been very close since high school, and she's helped me through a lot. However, back in school, Andy used to be kind of a bully, even towards me. Obviously, this was all back in school, and I thought she'd significantly grown since then. During the wedding planning, Andy asked me if I had a vision in mind for her bridesmaid dress. I told her I didn't really care, and she could wear whatever she wanted as long as it was a light color that would go well with my dress. She picked out a nice rose gold dress that I thought was rather cute, and I assumed that was that. A few days before my wedding, Andy calls me and tells me she has a surprise in store for me that she hoped I'd enjoy. I assumed it was a wedding gift or something of the sort, but boy, was I wrong. On my wedding day, while I was getting ready, Andy walked in wearing a lacy white dress, and not just any white dress. It was clearly a bridal dress, complete with an elegant headpiece that could pass off as a modern veil. I was flabbergasted and asked her why she was dressed like a bride, and then proceeds to tell me that she changed her mind about her former dress and decided she wanted to pick something that would work as a symbol of her sharing in my joy and happiness. She talked about how back in high school, she used to joke all the time about how she'd wear white to my wedding and how I used to laugh about that. So this was supposed to be a fun inside joke. Well, obviously, I didn't think it was funny. A huge argument ensued where I basically yelled my lungs off at her. She offered to change back into her rose gold dress, but I was extremely pissed, so I just asked her to leave. In the following days, she called me shallow for picking a dress over inviting more people, claiming I'm jealous because she looked slimmer in her dress than I did. Eventually, I blocked her. Her husband then called me up to tell me that she's been depressed lately and just wanted to cheer herself up by looking good and that I overreacted. Now, I know she's not been doing well, but I don't think I could let it go, especially since she knew how important the day was for me. AITA? She's depressed because she quit her job after her marriage, approximately 2 years ago, and ever since, she's lonely and stuck in a rut. She's a bit of a thrill seeker who needs to have something exciting happening, which she's lost as a housewife. Her words, not mine. Absolutely NTA. She wanted to upstage you. That comment about you being jealous that she looked slimmer in her dress than you did speaks volumes. If you're depressed, you don't lift yourself out of it by being a shitty person at your friend's wedding. That makes zero sense. You didn't overreact. Her husband needs to stay in his lane. NTA, you weren't wrong to exclude her for the dress and her bad behavior. Wear a wedding dress to someone else's wedding? Except it's not going down with a laugh. She tried to upstage you and gaslight you on top of it all. She's not a real friend. You are not responsible for whatever crisis she's going through. She sounds like an attention seeker. Long story short, I'm male, about to go to college. My mom is not in the picture, so it'll pretty much just be my dad paying for it. He said that as long as I keep good grades and stay out of trouble, he's willing to pay for my tuition and housing. I decided to attend my dream college after being accepted into it with a partial scholarship. My dad and I did the math, and it'll cost $30,000 to $40,000, more than what he has saved to pay the other half. I wasn't willing to let this opportunity go, but I also want to apply for student loans as the last resource. So I told my dad that I was going to get a job and put the money towards the last year. I said that this is really what I want to do, that this college is really good and the name it brings to my resume could be enough to land in some pretty good job opportunities. I can't go to another college after knowing I have the possibility to attend this one. I guess my dad liked how I spoke of it, and after talking with my stepmom, who agreed to let him keep saving for my college, he said that I just had to focus on my grades and we will be even. I was hella excited, but that same night, my stepmom came to my room and said that I couldn't attend the college I wanted and had to look for something cheaper because I was a spoiled brat, robbing my step and half siblings, 15 female, 10 male, and 6 male, from other opportunities. They thought that once I wasn't going to be around anymore and my dad had already saved for my college fund, that they would be able to buy her a new car, one for my stepsister, since I won't be able to drive her around anymore, a family vacation, and an upgrade to the house. I said I didn't know, and she said it was obvious. But now I did, and I had to make it right for our family. I don't know what she expected, but I obviously told my dad what she said and that I would rather work. He was confused because apparently he never promised any new cars or vacations, and that the upgrades will only still be happening since it's not like he'll put the 30,000 now, but rather gradually, just like he has been doing. He confronted her, and now neither her or my stepsister are talking to me for being a snitch. NTA, your stepmother should never have said what she did. She should have talked it over with your father and never involved you. It was pretty naive of her to think that you would not have told your dad. So they are not talking to you. Yay! Your stepmother and her stepdaughter deserve each other. NTA, your stepmother is a Disney villain, going behind her husband's back to tear you down and make you feel bad, and expecting you to just bow to her demands rather than expecting you'd mention it to your dad. You did nothing wrong. Go to college, kick ass, and go far in life. She created this problem and is facing the consequences of her own actions. Enjoy not having to speak to her. Act like nothing's wrong. And if she says anything about it to you, simply tell her that backstabbing stepmothers belong in Disney movies, not real life.